Today I'm going to share with you 3 setups for a submission I've been working on lately, which is called the Diesel Squeezel. What's up, guys, and welcome back to the Jiu Jitsu Journal, where we help you bring your grappling game to the next level. So today there's a submission that I've been playing with a lot. It's been around for a while, but I've been kind of playing with different ways to set it up and kind of different sneaky ways to put it in when your opponent is least expecting it. If you go on to learn something from this video, please consider helping support the channel by hitting that like button and hitting that subscribe button so you can see all the videos we have coming out in the future. And with that, let's get into it. Okay, so for this first setup, I like to do this off of when my partner or my opponent gets a single leg here. I would say ideally my first plan of attack here is to start defending this single leg, but I'll do this when I feel like maybe my foot is stuck inside and my strongest defenses are not available to me. But this submission is going to be a pretty high percentage from here. And basically what I want to do is I'm setting up a guillotine, kind of, but the traditional guillotine option is going to be really hard to get his head all the way on this side. He's going to have good posture, his ears tight to my chest, all that stuff is going to keep me from getting his hand over there. But what I can do is slide this hand right underneath his neck. And I'm going to start this. So traditionally this submission is set up with a fist like this, but I'm going to start this to get in his head position by doing more of a handgun choke, which is kind of like I'm going to go underneath here and then I'm going to snap his head down, cover the back of his head, and grip my forearm. Now, you can finish this here by just pulling your elbows apart and getting the tap there, okay? But what I kind of feel the problem is here is as soon as I come up to my forearm, they start kind of hand fighting, and it's the difficulty with the handgun choke is that it's hard to get this all the way through to get a tight grip. Usually, as you come underneath, they're thinking guillotine, they're fighting hands, and I can only get, yeah, go ahead, fight hands. I can only get about here, and this slides off pretty easy. So once I get here, what I do, I get his head covered. Now, I don't need it all the way in here. I just need to get my chest over top of it. And what I'm gonna do is basically just slide down from this loose grip to my wrist, which gets a lot tighter, like here, okay? Then my fist goes into his neck, and I just push in here. Now you see his head pops into that position. So this is what's hard to get, right? So once I set up this handgun choke, I can finish here, or if I'm not getting this grip, I slide down to the wrist and my fist forces it this way. I can finish here, but more than likely, he's fighting hands, it's gonna be a little tougher, so what I'm actually gonna do is pull guard. So is your knee okay if I pull guard? So we'll go down slow, and basically I'm gonna bait his pass as I sit, okay? So I'm gonna sit, he's gonna look to pass right here, and if you see my hand underneath here, it's still there, okay? So I can finish here, and if I don't finish here, he's gonna roll right over the top. Fist is still in his neck, pushing it down into his throat. Okay, so I'm just gonna show this move from the front headlock. I think this is actually the most common way to get this move. And it's the simplest to set up, but for me, I think it's the most high percentage situation. So I've sprawled on his shot and I've got him down on all fours. Now, a good wrestler, which this might be an issue for you with your knee, but what he would wanna do is get his knees up underneath him so that he can be having his weight off of his hands, right? Can you do that, or you want me to show him? Yeah, okay, yeah. So like when he's getting underneath here, right? Yeah, because that frees him up to fight my grip. Now the opposite is true for me. I want to keep his weight on my knees, or on his hands, sorry. And I understand, notice I'm being lazy here so that I can talk, or I don't have my knees in the proper position, but if I was really sprawling on him, right, I would have my head up and I'd have all my weight on him. I like to go nuts on the head. You can go down here, it's preference. But my knees would normally be off the ground. Just so I could talk a little more freely, I'm gonna sit here, okay? So look, what I wanna do is get his hands committed to the ground, okay? So he's fighting hands in here because he feels me grabbing his neck. What I'm gonna do is just give him a snap. So I'm gonna come back here and pull him to me like this, okay? So he's postured up, he's trying to get his head up high. I'm gonna move out of the way and bring him forward. Now at that moment, I can go here, but I would prefer this diesel squeeze, okay? So as soon as his hands hit the mat, pop to here. And you notice my fist is behind his neck to start, because I wanna secure his head. There's no security here, you can pop his head up and through, okay? So I'm here. Now, similar to the first setup, as my hand slides under, I pull my guard, or I pull side control actually, and his head is now stuck underneath here. I can use the leverage of this fist under his neck, sit my hip towards him, and roll him through. He may tap on that side. If he doesn't roll, the choke's gonna get tight. He'll roll on his own accord to avoid the choke. It'll be tighter when I'm on top. So on this one, I like to set this up from half guard, and usually what I'll use it for is, say like I lost this underhook fight. Obviously, ideal control and passing scenario is that I had this underhook. But say I lost this, and I feel like a lot of people, once he gets here and he's sitting up, a lot of people consider this a losing battle. What you don't want to do is try to guillotine here, because as soon as I go to pull guard, I'm on the wrong side. Even if he doesn't pass here, I don't have the leverage to, I need this leg. My right leg that's underneath here, I need it out and over his back, right? So what I'll do is I'll actually use this overhook to keep him flat. And the way I'm gonna do that is, typically we use our wizard like this, which is gonna help him get up in this scenario. I'm gonna take my hand, turn it palm up. Can you see that right there? I'm gonna take my hand, turn it palm up, and I'm gonna chop into his shoulder. And I will have his head wrapped here. I'm gonna chop into his shoulder. Now I need to be ready to post with my head here, because he'll probably wanna sweep, okay? But this is pushing up into him, and I can't hold him down here, but I'm actually gonna do this, just give him enough resistance that he really wants to push and reach with that underhook. What I'm trying to do is get him to commit this hand as far from his neck as possible. Right, and usually this arm is framing or something like that. I can take it out of the scenario with my knee if I want to, but usually it's somewhere around here. So as I reach here, I go to push him over. I'm ready to post if I need to, but what I want is just to give him enough resistance that he reaches up into me. He reaches up, this hand, same time, goes deep. This one comes over toward the back of his neck first, the back of his neck. And then I lock my hands together. Now I can cover if I want to control his posture. I don't find it necessary. So my hand underneath here is like this. His head's in this hole, and I'm grabbing here. So he comes, so I go to flatten him out. I give him resistance to reach and commit, and I pop it over, okay? So my elbow comes down, I'm grabbing my wrist here. Now I really have the power to flatten him out, and as I do it, my hand slides back. This hand slides back towards his artery. Slides back, and I push. And all I'm doing is I'm pulling my elbow up this way so that my wrist covers his bottom artery, and then I'm putting my weight on top of my wrist into this artery, his top artery, okay? Slide it back, put some pressure on it, right there. So again, it's important to know that like in this position, what's common is, you know, as soon as you wrap someone's head, he's fighting hands, he's thinking about his neck, right? So my whole setup is getting him to commit to the position. Okay, I want him to get up to his elbow, because that takes this hand out of the equation. I want him to be reaching with this, because it takes this hand out of the equation. Now, if I miss my setup, or if I hit my setup properly and he's really committed, I should be able to slide this all the way in before he gets flat to his back. Now, if that doesn't happen, he's able to get back to his back, get his hands free, and get in here and fight my hands off, then what I've done is I've won the position here, okay? So it's kind of a pick your poison for him. I either want him to abandon his defense of the position so that he can protect his neck, in which case I'm gonna have the underhook and have a higher percentage of passing, or I want him to really commit to this position, in which case I'm gonna take advantage of the submission, okay? All right, guys, as always, thank you for watching. Today we went over 3 setups for the Diesel Squeezel Choke. One more time, if you like this video, please make sure to hit that like button. It's the best thing that you can do to help us get our videos out to other people out there on the internet. And also don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any of the techniques we have coming out for you guys every week. All right, we'll see you guys on the next one.